I saw someone else uploaded a reaction to this video, and their reaction was basically just scoffing at the premise of this video. So I wanted to throw in my 2 cents, so let's tuck in, shall we?
This is not raw tuna. Even though it has the same texture, taste, mouthfeel, and the only thing that it lacks is if it sits too long, it's not gonna smell. But I tossed this onto a poke bowl and wow, it's incredible, and it's made from apples.
I'm going to go off a little on a diatribe here, so bear with me please. But I don't understand the people, and not necessarily just vegans but content creators who try to make vegetables and fruits taste like meat. Odds are it's not going to taste like it at all, and I just don't see the point of it. If you've made the decision to give up meat or eating animals in general, then why would you want or need to replicate the taste of it? For me personally, as an example, I've given up drinking sodas. I don't drink alternatives, I don't crave the fizzy carbonation, I just cold turkey cut it out of my life. I understand vegans miss the taste of meat. It is delicious, but them trying to constantly recreate that taste, it's like just have some fish. Let's keep it a bean. A lot of vegans don't even consider aquatic life to be important to the environment anyway.
Let me show you how. First, this was a test that I filmed, so I'm excited that it came out great, but let me know in the comments if you have any ideas on how I should improve it.
Please, let him know in the comments. I'm sure he reads them and takes advice from them like all the other huge content creators on YouTube do.
So we need some apples. I've been eating 1 apple a day to keep the doctor away for a few weeks now, so I had a stock of them to use.
I need to up my apple game, cause I honestly don't even eat fruit that much. Once you kind of realize that fruit is just sugar, you stop eating it. Also, it's expensive. I got chocolate-covered strawberries the other day, and that shit was, I'm not even joking, it was 17 bucks. Were they good? Of course. But 20 bucks on some strawberries. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to be using Fuji apples here, and all we're going to do is just peel them and cube them. Now, I want to pickle these apples to kind of gel up those pectins and give it more of like a fish consistency.
I'm asking genuinely, ain't that just going to taste like a pickled apple? Usually when veggies get pickled, they just take on the flavor of the brine.
Acid will react with the pectin to kind of firm it up a bit, so we're going to be using vinegar to do that. We're just going to start with 2 cups of water in a saucepan along with a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. You can use white vinegar, but we're using apples here, so I figured why not?
Vinegar is disgusting, but apple cider vinegar is somehow even more disgusting. Now I know. He's not exactly drinking vinegar raw. He's just using it to break down the structure of the apple in the pickling process. I'm just saying it's gross.
Now, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of capers.
Capers. This is going to taste foul.
Along with some of the juices, just to kind of give it that fishiness kind of taste, a pinch of salt, and a small square of kelp or kombu.
So I think that kelp is what's going to actually give it the quote fishy taste unquote. Honestly, I don't think vinegar, capers, and kelp taste like fish. And don't forget that added sweetness of the apple. Why not add like a fish sauce to this or something? How is this going to taste fishy at all? I don't know, I just don't think kelp tastes like fish. I think it tastes like kelp. But I'm putting my eggs in my basket a little too soon here.
Now I'm just going to turn up the heat, bring it to a simmer, add the apples, reduce the heat, and allow it to rest for about 10 minutes. At this point, I want the apple fish to cool down and brine in this liquid. I'm going to remove the kombu from the saucepan and pour the apples along with the pickling broth into a container.
Aren't you not supposed to put hot liquids into plastic containers? Is that a thing, or is my mom just very superstitious? Also, I'm surprised he doesn't have glass mason jars.
And then I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil onto the top, kind of stir it up.
What the fuck is that tablespoon of olive oil going to do? This is not a slight at the guy, just genuinely, what the hell is that oil going to do? I'm curious.
And then we're just going to throw a lid on it and toss it into the fridge overnight. Now it's the next morning, the apples are cold, and I wanted to give them a try. They have a nice taste, although a bit vinegary.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why it tastes like vinegar. You can't tell by the AI voice, but I'm laughing pretty hard as I type this. I don't think he's intentionally trying to be funny, but like be for real.
And the texture is squishy like the cube of raw fish, but when you bite into it, it still has a bit of a crisp like a pickled veg.
Okay, sometimes I'll watch these videos, not just by this creator, but mainly by vegans who try these recipes, and I'll always wonder, why do they always try to rush the process? Like if a recipe calls for brining something, they'll just leave it for a couple of hours and be like, oh, it didn't pick up the flavor at all. And I'm always wondering, like, why not leave it longer? If the apple still feels and tastes like an apple from the overnight pickling process, Why not just leave it in the brine a day longer?
All in all, as pickled apples, how they are is awesome. I imagine making a spicy version of this would be really good. But we're gonna be making a mock fish, so I figured why not color them red just for fun, but also dampen that vinegar taste and soften up the crisp. So I'm just gonna strain the apples out of the pickling broth, toss them back into their container, and then cover them with a teaspoon of beet powder. That's gonna give them the red color, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, which is going to help dampen that vinegar taste and soften these up a little bit more. Now we're gonna fill the container with water, a bit of salt.
These are going to taste so salty. Like, why would you add more salt to that?
I'm gonna cover them up, give them a real light shake. And then we're gonna toss them back in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Okay, and it's been 2 hours. These are done. They look amazing.
It looks like watermelon.
And they have the texture of fish.
All I can go by is this footage, but it doesn't really look like raw fish if we're being honest. Raw fish is more vibrant than that, and not as firm as that. It's more jelly-like and bouncy. Like I said earlier, that looks more like watermelon than it does fish.
I haven't tried them yet, but I mean, you could just tell from the outside, it's perfect.
I don't think he's intentionally trying to mislead here, but it is not giving fish. I'm sorry. I mean, in all honesty, I would give that a taste, or maybe I wouldn't. It would be salty as hell, so I would have to pass. Maybe add less salt.
I'm so excited to try these out. Now, I've decided that I wanted to try to use these in a poke bowl. So we're gonna make some of the poke bowl fixins. First, we're gonna need some rice. Now, just like in my last video where I said not to boil your rice in water, I meant plain water. I'm gonna jazz this rice up a bit and make like a fun golden rice, just using a little ginger and turmeric.
This dude's flavor profile has got to be all the way fucked up. Like, just imagine you're eating those vinegary, salty-ass pickled apples, paired with ginger and turmeric rice.
It's gonna give it some flavor, but also make it a bit healthier.
This reminds me of that Facebook bull that they peddle where they're like, just boil ginger and rub that shit on your legs and you'll lose weight in a matter of days. It's all bullshit. Turmeric is disgusting, and I don't think a small portion of a spice has any more health benefits than any other food. I can guarantee a boiled egg has better health benefits than mixing a tablespoon of turmeric into your water and drinking it. It's all lies. It's just companies trying to sell their shit. No, I'm not full of cynicism, it's just my mom's always on this shit, and I swear Facebook and TikTok rot the brains. There's like something actually nefarious going on there. Not to keep going on about this, but imagine going to your doctor and them being like, yeah, you have this, and I prescribe just buying some turmeric off the shelves at your grocery store. Mix that with whatever you're drinking, and you'll be cured in no time. Like, what is the actual health benefit of drinking a spice? This shit drives me up the wall.
And if you like these new healthier recipes, make sure you click that like button so I know to make more.
What is healthy about this recipe in particular? That you put turmeric in it, and that supposedly makes it healthy. I thought I'd have more commentary about the fish angle here, but I digress.
And if you want to, click the subscribe button.
No, I don't want to. Get on with it.
So now that we got the rice going, all we really need is a good sauce. My buddy owns a great poke restaurant.
I don't care.
One of the sauces that they have, it is not vegan, is their togarashi mayo. It's one of their most popular sauces. But since it's mayo based, we can make a really easy version using vegan mayo. Now, I'm just gonna make that using a bit of sesame oil, rice vinegar, chili oil, togarashi seasoning. I mixed it up and it still was a little off. I added some agave to sweeten it up.
This sauce just screams healthy. It's like the worst things you can think of all in one. The agave is especially foul.
Now, this came out perfect in my opinion. It's really good. Now I'm gonna toss that into the fridge. At this point, the rice is done. I'm gonna throw that into a bowl along with some pickled veg that I had in the fridge.
This guy is really into pickling everything.
And some red onion and avocado. Now in a separate bowl, I'm gonna add in some of the apple fish.
Apple fish. It's got a nice ring to it, I suppose. This honestly just reminds me of when vegans put breading and hot sauce on some cauliflower and called it chicken wings. I can tell you from experience, it just tasted like cauliflower. It's crazy. For a veggie with no bite, you really can't hide the taste of cauliflower no matter what you do to it. That's also why I think this isn't gonna taste right. 'Cause a lot of fruits and veggies, regardless of what you do to them, are still gonna taste like fruit and veggies. Like, have you ever made noodles with zucchini? Shit is absolutely disgusting, and I like zucchini, but a noodle it is not. Neither are chickpeas.
Mix that with a little bit of soy sauce, sesame oil.
Okay, so he adds the soy sauce here instead of in the brining process to give it the fishy taste. I'm just spitballing here, but wouldn't adding soy sauce to the brine have helped at all? No, I don't know. Also, that literally just looks like cut up watermelon to me.
And normally I would just use some sesame seeds here, but we've been using everything seasoning on everything lately. I mean, it has sesame seeds in it, so why not? And I'm also going to chop up a few green onions, mix that up, and I mean, this looks really good.
That's debatable.
We're going to toss that around and throw that right onto the bowl, sprinkle with some more togarashi, some of that spicy togarashi sauce, and boom, this looks amazing.
Sure, I would rather eat Chipotle if I'm being honest, but you do you.
Applefish came out incredible. The texture looks incredible.
I think you're only fooling yourself here. It looks like fruit.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But let's see what Monica has to say.
Oh, it's really good.
It's really good, she says, as she can't even get the bite down her mouth.
Wild, right?
It resembles fish very much.
Bruh, she's still chewing. Also, what would a vegan who hasn't tasted fish, especially raw fish, in a while know what fish tastes like? If you haven't eaten something in a long time, you're not going to remember that taste of it. That's just the truth. And that's something that bothers me about vegans in general, in that they be like it tastes just like this. Bruh, you haven't eaten that shit in years. How would you know?
You know?
Yeah.
It's a great substitute.
Why don't you try eating actual fish and then saying that? How is pickled apples a great substitute for fish in any way? Apples don't have omega-3s or even half the nutrition that actual fish does. And I've been thinking too, mangoes have a weird off taste. Wouldn't pickling mangoes resemble more of a fish taste than apples? Like, why would you pick one of the sweetest fruits to try this on?
Let me try it all with like an avocado and... This is great.
She can barely even swallow it. And why does he look so depressed in the corner over there?
It's crazy, right?
Probably some crazy.
Give you a rundown on the fish.
Yeah, let me just take one more quick bite.
Yeah.
So it's got kind of that like savory soy sauce sesame flavor.
Bruh. He added the sesame oil and soy sauce last. And that's the first thing she tastes.
It does have this nice outside like kind of snap, like this firm like kind of rubbery, not rubbery, but like a nice snap to it.
Almost like a crisp apple.
But that's what you would expect fish to have, you know, on the outside.
Fish aren't crispy like an apple unless you fry them. I cannot believe that they essentially just put soy sauce on an apple and are like, wow, it tastes just like fish. This reminds me of that show Golden Girls. There was a scene where Rose made some Scandinavian dessert, and she was like, if you just hold your nose, it'll taste like whatever you want it to. Only you know, that was a joke. Also, if anything, the texture of raw fish is gelatinous. It should not be crispy like an apple.
Same with the inside. It's like nice, just kind of like smooth bite all the way through.
What do you mean it's smooth? Like you're biting into an apple. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's softened up enough to where it's like buttery. It has that consistency.
It really doesn't even look like it's softened up much at all. I mean, you both agreed not just a second ago that it still had that crisp crunch. So either it's crispy or soft. It can't be both.
Yeah.
It truly is pretty wild the way that came out.
If I had to hazard a guess on the taste, I'd say sweet but salty. Like a pickled apple, slathered in soy sauce. So imagine how that would taste in your mouth, and then think of how fish tastes. It does not taste sweet for one thing.
It worked out exactly the way I thought it would.
It's really, really good.
It's killing me because she's taking small bites and looks like she can barely stomach it. What are the odds they threw this concoction out after filming?
There's still a little of the pickled vegetable texture. Like there's a little bit of that crunch there. Most of it did go away. Because I know I had you try it earlier.
Oh, you mean just kind of like that apple? Like
Yeah.
Oh no, it still tastes like an apple. Wow. Yeah, I'm so sure this would fool someone laughing my ass off. It's like what I was trying to say earlier with the cauliflower. You really can't mask the taste of fruits and vegetables. They're just too dominant in their flavor profiles.
Like there's like a little bit of like the,
Yeah,
it's not
there's-
100% to fish.
I would just start from scratch then, if I was him. It probably tastes foul. I can't imagine that tasting good.
it's not 100% there, but it's really close. And yes, I tried it earlier and I was like, outside's great, but the inside has this kind of like still this apple crunch. But like this now, it was so different, I could barely taste it. But
Yeah.
it's still there. I mean, you can still tell it's not actually fish, but it's like pretty close and really good.
How many times are you going to contradict yourself?
Yeah, in the bowl, like if you were just eating it in the bowl, you would enjoy it without really knowing, I think. Like,
It'd probably just taste like you're eating rice, veggies, and an apple. I honestly don't think that even resembles fish. It's not even close.
I mean, am I over exaggerating?
Probably. I mean, I feel like you're trying to sell me something.
Hold on. No, you're not over exaggerating. It's really good. It's good with mixed, like by itself, and
Yeah.
excellent mixed with everything.
I'm just gonna have to press X to doubt here.
Yeah, all in all, yeah, I don't know what I would change.
I would just use actual fish next time. It'd probably taste better and be healthier than this.
We were able to get rid of all of that vinegar taste. There's still a little of the pickled vegetable texture. Like, there could be maybe a little bit more of a fishy taste there.
I like how he admits he failed. It's pretty funny.
We might be able to use the sweeter their apple, the less pectins there are. So I'm wondering if we used a more sour apple.
Give up on the apples. Just use tofu or something.
Well, here it is. This is our dinner. This is our dinner. For real though. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm happy about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, that's it. Let me play you guys out.
You know me, the fighting freak Knuckles, and we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? I ain't gonna let it get to me, I'm just gonna